Okay, so to pick up from where we were yesterday, we should go over the first move again to make sure we understand what the Neigong is, what your internal energy is, right? So the first part of this, let's include the Qigong too. When you do the Qigong, right, Peng, Lu, An, Qi. 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 Peng, Sai. Peng, Lu, An, Qi. And maybe the most important thing then is the control of the Renmai and the Renmai, the Dumai, and the Chiangmai. You're sinking in the Renmai, and then if you're going to go down, something's got to go up. So you come up into your Tanzhong. Relax. Again, Tanzhong. Right. Lower back. Tanzhong. Lower back. Tanzhong. Lower back. Tanzhong. Lower back. That makes sense? So getting a feeling for those, the channel in the back, the front, and the center. then on to the next one. All right. Questions? Yeah, Kevin.
It's going to sound weird, but I'm just thinking an analogy of what I feel like is like a mullet. Business up front, out of control party in the back. I can't control the back of my body like I can the front.
Yeah. Well, in that case, what would I do if I was dealing with that? I think I would not worry so much about the physical plane. I would just pay attention to the mental plane. Use your mind to go to these places. And if your physical body is not ready to cooperate, don't worry about it. Just do the mental thing, because where your mind goes, your chi is gonna go. All right? So conceivably, you'll be getting some flexibility, some action, some healing through that, and some good out of that. And hopefully, maybe over time, it would free up your physical body a little bit. Um, I don't think, hold on, I don't think I've got his book here. I don't think the story is in here. One of Bruce Francis's book.
I don't think I have that one.
Yeah. Uh, but Bruce Francis came back from China and was doing such and such. And I can't remember. I think he lived in Minnesota, someplace like that. Anyway, they have bad snows and bad ice, and he was in a car wreck. And they told him he was never going to do martial arts again. He would be lucky if he ever learned to walk again. And he spent the next, I think, 24 months basically flat on his back. And all he could do was Qigong. All he could do was use his mind at the beginning. And then very, very slowly he started to be able to do things physically until he regained the use of his body. I don't know that he ever returned to being 18 years old again, but then the rest of us aren't returning to that either. So I think that I would just focus on the mental part of it and getting that correct, and that the chi will follow, and hopefully at some point the physical body will follow that. Same with your leg, actually, too. Okay, let's go on to the second move. Man, that's a long move. There's a lot of stuff in there. All right. So from the beginning. Pum. Lu. On. Chi. So as with every move in the form is the form. Even though you can say it's composed of applications, uh, they're so modified when you do the form that they're not really applications any longer. So this application, pum, lu, on, chi, all right? That could just be boom, like that. But it might be that you only do the pum. All right? Pum. And you're just, someone's coming at you like this, and you go like this. And that's all you're doing is basically blocking. But when you see people do this, what you'll see is this. You don't see the pong. You don't see the lu on chi. But it's there. Right? Second application on this might be a catching and redirecting somebody's fist. So you've got one guy over here, boom. All right. Here comes his evil twin brother from the other side, and he's doing a flying Superman punch. Right. You're going to catch him at the wrist and the elbow, or maybe the shoulder. Watch this. You use the turning of the Dan Chin, sink into the Qua, and then boom. And the third one, here comes somebody else, right? The third one might be composed of a couple parts. The on could just be pressing down. Or you could just go right into chi. This is a china. One, two, three. Okay, Rand, repeat those for me.
Okay.
Okay, and call out the three applications that I just went through.
One. Two.
Okay, I saw you thinking. Now you got to understand then that's the Shin Yi.
The mistake is thinking. You should never think.
The mistake is you start thinking. That's the Shin Yi, right? The thinking part of it. The Neigong, but you got to have the Neigong or it doesn't do any good, right? So how do you create pung? I'm asking you, how do you create pung? Years ago, we would have about twice a year, we would have special workshops for the disciples with Master Zhang. And he would just take an afternoon and he would meet us in the park. And so I was always a little late because we lived halfway across town. I had to drive and find parking and all the other crap that goes with that. So I would get in there, and he'd go, "Oh, Malcolm, okay, you come here, you know." So I would come up, and he would go like this. Right? And what he was saying was, he wanted me to do that. He wanted me to brace. Right? And then he'd put his hands on you. Or he would go like this and have you put your hands on him. And then he would listen. He would listen to your energy. And then with me, he would always say, "Oh, it's okay. It's okay. Maybe 5 more years, all right?" So what he was listening to was your mind, really. That's what he was really listening to. What he was listening to was your nervous system. So your mind isn't just up here, it's through your whole body. And he was listening to it. Is it tense? And of course, mine always was a little bit, because here he is calling me out in front of everybody. And at first, I didn't really understand what he wanted, what he was looking for, what he wanted. I hope I would do a little better now, but it's okay. Maybe 5 more years. Right? He said that every 5 years for 20 years. And it's kind of the same thing. There has to be real strength in Pun. But the strength has to be relaxed and elastic. It's not hard muscle. That's not it. It's, you know, it's like a kid's kickball. Like the kickball I got here. It's elastic. How do you get it? You expand. But you don't just expand here. You also expand down, expand in every direction. It's a sphere. The sphere grows. All right? So what gives this particular strength here is this down here, just on the opposite side of the globe. You guys know where the Deccan traps are? The volcanic Deccan traps? The Deccan traps are in India, on the western side of India. And they're about 55 million years old. So there was, huge eruptions, not just one volcano, but a whole series of volcanoes. And it went on for many, many, many years, and huge amounts of lava out there. And you know why the Deccan traps are there? What's on the exact opposite side of the globe? Right? Is the place where the asteroid hit that killed the dinosaurs. At least so I've read. But you get the idea. There's a hit on one side of the globe, and it literally reverberates through the globe. We think of the globe as solid. but in fact, it's mostly liquid. All right, so those, it hits here and it goes all the way through to the other side, and focuses down there, and boom, there's all these volcanoes suddenly. So the same thing. All right, Lu, turn, sink, pong, Lu, on, Qi. Peng, Lu, on, Qi. Let me see you do it. Peng. Peng. No, just Peng. Peng. Peng, stop. Go up and Peng and stop. Now, Lu. Right, on. Qi. One more. Peng. Lu. On. Qi. Good. Peng, Lu, on, Qi. Peng, Lu, on, Qi. And you have to be using the daimai all the way through this. You watch Chen Shang do this, often you'll see his hands being they're like this. On. Lu. Peng.
You're grabbing the wrist, breaking the elbow. Yes.
Yeah. Grab the wrist. Some guy's punching. You grab the punch. You might not even have to grab his arm. You can just guide it, because his energy's all coming in. So here comes his energy in. The first thing, you want to make sure he doesn't hit you with it. Second thing is, you prefer to him for him to keep going. So that's Lu energy. You grab it, and instead of it coming in here, right, you just lower it. So maybe this is 70% Lu and 30% on. Now, his arm's going to be stretched out across you. So he's coming in, he's trying to hit you. All right? His arm is stretched out across. Your other hand, you could just use just to push him. So here's his shoulder. Just push his shoulder, push him aside. Or if you were not in such a good mood, as he comes in, you want to as he comes in, his elbow is going to be to the side. So the blue dot's his elbow. It's going to be to the side. All right? So what you do as you grab him is you twist a little. All right? The blue dot now is underneath. I got two blue dots on here on both sides. I'll take one blue dot off. All right, there's his elbow. His elbow's coming in. You just give it a quarter twist. And look how easy it is to do. Watch. It just sort of almost happens naturally. And then so it's sort of like catching the guy between the devil and the deep blue sea.
I just noticed that it's a counterclockwise twist, not a clockwise twist. So I've been doing it wrong for years.
Yeah, you don't. It's too hard to do it this way. Besides which, if you did that, you're actually opening yourself up to getting clocked with his elbow. Because he's coming in like this, and if you twist it this way, all he's got to do is raise his elbow up and clock you with it. But if you twist it the other way, he can't do that. See what I mean? So this is like a set of shears. One blade is going one way and the other blade is coming this way. So this, on this side of the body, you're doing Lu. And that means you're dropping from your Tanzhong into your Mingmen. On this side, you're doing Peng, which means you're coming from your Mingmen up into your Tanzhong. So there's a big circle going on inside your body. Right? Boom, like this. And that's what you really want to pay attention to, is that circle, because that's what's powering everything. Now, the footwork on this, you could do it without any footwork at all. All right, just catch and boom. But the footwork in here is to turn the left toe in. That will help with the Lu energy. Watch the red qua. You sink, sink. You don't want to try to do this without using your qua. It's too stiff. You've got to power it with the qua. All right, now you're halfway to the turn, so now you can complete the turn and then step through. When you step through, your step shouldn't be clear out to the end of the toes. Should be in a little bit, so that if you drew your foot in, this foot would go right into the instep. All right? All your weight is on the right, and you just could turn on the left. If this were a left-handed form, it would be the opposite way. All right? But unfortunately for you lefties, it's a right-handed form. All right? And it's like there's a big circle.
Every time I see you do that, I still hurt from the chin up.
You hurt from the chin up? What do you mean?
Just remember you doing it, and it just gives me that feeling.
All right. You're twisting here, and you're twisting here. So that's a chin out too. And the right hand is associated with the renmai. All right, so the channel down the front of the body. So you're sinking. The left hand is associated with the dumai. So you're rising. Is that what it felt like, Kevin?
Yeah.
Another way to look at it is okay, and the move following that is raising the knee. Okay, so what is raising the knee for? Maybe the best way to understand it is this. Here's the guy, all right? And you've got his arms twist, all right? That's what you're doing. Now, generally, he's not going to fall over exactly like that, right? But what you're trying to do is surround him. You're trying to surround him, and you try to come in right behind his knee. Behind his knee with the back of your ankle. All right? So let's say his knee. Let's say his knee is about there, right? So you're trying to come in with the back of your ankle right at his knee and collapse his knee. You can also just go down lower, like at his ankle, and sweep his feet out from underneath him there. But really, all you're really trying to do is collapse the knee a little bit. All right. So you come up. You actually come up and then come back. So there's a bit of a blow to it. All right. Or you can also just be like a big snake and kind of just surround him, and then you push while you pull with your feet. So your foot comes back in toward you, and this goes that direction, right? Boom. And you push him over that way. That's a fun move. I'd be happy to demonstrate that on you, Kevin, anytime. That's the push. So your foot should, sometimes you'll see people do this. That is not correct. It's not correct any place in any form where you do something like it. It's never correct to do it that way. And I'll tell you why. It's because when you do that, watch this area of my body. How do you do that? What's the NEIGONG of doing it incorrectly? Here's the correct way to do it. What's the NEIGONG of that? What's happening in here when each of those happens? I'm going to move my hands out of the way. The most important, yeah, Kevin.
Well, on the wrong way, you're going above your dantian, and then the
Yeah.
way you're going below your dantian.
That's exactly right. And that makes a huge difference. When you turn your dantian over like this, there are times you turn your dantian over. But you have to learn when you do that how to keep from pulling your own root out of the ground. Because it's very easy, if you don't know how to do this, you can turn your dantian over, and when you turn it over, you pull your root out of the ground, and now you're ungrounded, you're kind of floating. So what you have to learn how to do is turn the dantian over while something else goes under. All right? But that's basically the idea. You don't want to do this. Plus, there's a shock value on there. Plus, when you do this, you're just suddenly offering yourself to your opponent. You know, smack me in the head. Where, if you go the other way, this takes a long time. This is very quick because it's a much smaller movement. This is a long movement. This is a short movement. All right? You're really just turning the ball like about a quarter. This way, you're turning it almost 3/4. All right. So you land on your heel, not on your toe. You come down and you just scooch out. And then you follow. So your leg approaches the guy before your face does. You don't want to lean over backwards, but you can do it. Oh. So the footwork on this, there are two things that you should pay attention to. One of them is when your foot lands, it should be on that blue line. It should be facing straight forward, not out here, not out there, straight forward. The second thing is you have to have some distance between your heels. All right? So they line up with your shoulders. It can't be like this, because now you're just all wobbly. It can't be like this, because now you're too wide. You don't have control of yourself. All right? So it should be about like this. And your back foot, when you're done, is about at 45 degrees or so, roughly. Sink, sink, sink. You sink in the red on the right. Sink. Now, that little movement is a really tough one because you're doing two different things. You're just moving in this plane here at 45 degrees, right? But as you get toward here, you have to change that 45 degrees to this line. Does this make sense? Rand, you see what I'm saying? Okay, so here you are, you're moving on the diagonal. And now you've got to change it to the forward. So, in other words, you have to change your hip orientation. The only way to do that is to open your knees. And then your Dan Qian and your Dai Mai move in this direction. If you don't open your knee, it's very hard to move your Dan Qian, right? So you need to open it. And it's that opening, it's that second part of the movement that most people miss. Again, sink in the red. And then again, you start in the diagonal, and then this movement is not like this. It goes out and then it comes back in. It goes out and then around your knee. So the movement is actually called brushing the knee. So if somebody's trying to kick you, the ideal in the knee, the ideal is you reach down and grab the guy. You know, grab his ankle and brush him out of the way. Then you walk through. This movement, you use these outer knuckles, not the inner knuckles, but the outer knuckles. And you come right down on the guy's nose and then right down his center line. Oh, I guess it's time. Annie's coming giving me the look. I know she's been in there cooking, right? Anyway, you come right down the center, and then there's a backhand. Bam. Bam. In other words, you kind of mash his nose so that it's all distorted and bloody, and then you smack it again really good and hard. And now, pull back. Look, watch the daimai. Pull back. Pull back. Some guys got hold of your arm, right here. You see what I'm doing? All right. You come on top, you flip on top of his arm, and then you just use your weight. And now you're going to pull silk, stretch silk. It's like you're stretching taffy between your hands. Once you get past your own Dan Chen, and there's some room, now you can lift your knee. Make sense? There you go. There's move number 2. So work on that, and work on over the week, and work on, see if you can figure out which channels, which energy channels you use when. All right, and we'll go over that next weekend, and then move on to the next move. Okay, I'm gonna go have lunch. All right. You guys have a great day. We'll see you next time.